Okay, friends, let's talk about sex and sexual energy, and more importantly, what the difference is. Um, yeah, we're going in hot and heavy right away. And this is just like the first lesson, but this is what came up, and I'm hearing this is like really important because it not only is a part of if you are in the practice of or want to align your chakras and heal them, the sacral chakra has to do with sexual energy, but also with like divine feminine healing, or healing your feminine energy, or just like loosening up in general. If you do yoga, there's like a lot about sacral chakras and stuff. Um, there's just like a lot of applications for understanding what sexual energy is. We What I want to do is help you separate the term sex from what sexual energy is, right? Because while sex itself, like the act of sex itself, may not be that important, not at least not the importance we tend to put on it. Um, Sexual energy is important, and I don't want anyone to feel excluded from accessing their sexual energy because they think sex has to be involved somehow. And this seems to be kind of one of the like things that I kind of hear the most is like sex is kind of um like emphasized almost, or there's like some kind of connection that they put with like the act of sex. Um but I don't want anyone who is like unable to have sex, whether it's like they don't want to or they can't. I don't want them to have this misconception that you have to somehow be connected to sex in order to access your sexual energy. So I want to frame it in a certain way, but I don't really know if it's going to like get the point across because this was like a comparison that I was given, but I don't know how to put it into words. But I have it written down, so I'm just gonna read it out. But let's say the term sex has become archaic for a group of people. And they started using the term mating, and they have used this term for many, many years, like thousands of years now. Would they still associate sex with sexual energy, right? So if the term sexual energy, standalone term, came to be, would they associate sex with sexual energy, right? They probably wouldn't, given that they're like two different words. But we, to kind of bring it back to like our sphere right now, we only really associate the term sex with sexual energy because the first thing we can think of, um, when we think of sexual energy is sex because it's kind of like in the term. But I think it's instead of looking at it like that, like it's like exclusive to the act of sex, I think it's better to look at it as the energy, um, as energy that is like that of sex. So hence like sexual, right? Like energy that is like sex. So this can be like its connection, right? Pleasure, fulfillment, release, right? Some examples that are like pretty mundane is like a really good stretch after a nap can be sexual energy. A good scratch on an itch can be sexual energy. Essentially, it's like an enjoyment of like the physical body. Um, a lot of like physical, like tactile things, or rather just like it's like a good feeling that manifests in physical motion. How else can I like describe this in like a broken down kind of way? I mean, in all honesty, it doesn't even really have to be a physical feeling or like a physical motion. It's something that you feel internally as you do with all of aspects of like your chakras, right? It's something that is internal. But the way that the energy within the sacral chakra, this sexual energy portion of the sacral chakra is more like a satisfying feeling. Maybe like that was the word I was looking for. Like that feeling of the sexual energy is satisfying. And I was thinking about this, and I wondered that if the reason that we um, sometimes with like sacral chakra healing, like it doesn't go the way that people want it to go because again we associate it with the term like the act of sex, and um, if you've never really had a satisfying sex life, like I don't think you would associate satisfaction with sexual energy via the fact that like the thing that like um, joins the two together, like the satisfaction of the sexual energy, is like the act of sex, right? And that's why, again, another reason I think that's it's important to sort of detach just like the act of sex. If it's something that brings you a lot of satisfaction and a lot of that sexual energy, then that's great. Like, go for it. But this is for people who, again, like don't want to associate sexual energy with sex, right? They want to be able to access their sexual energy without having to rely on the act of sex. Yeah, that's kind of it. The main takeaway, I think, if you take away anything at all from this video, is that instead of associating the act of sex with sexual energy, instead look at it as like the energy that is like that of sex, right? So the feelings you get during good sex, or like enjoyable, like the kind of sex that you like, right? That fulfills you, that satisfies you. The feeling that you get from that, like that is sexual energy. And it's not, and that feeling isn't just limited to sex. It's you can find that in other places.